It's almost my favourite time of year, and what I'd like to do today would kind of talk you through a couple of things that I really start to think about, because when it comes to autumn, you really should think in advance of what you're going to shoot, where you're going to shoot, when you're going to shoot, and why you're going to shoot. So I want to share some of my thought process in advance of hitting the autumn season, and hopefully it will help you as well on your photography journey to make sure that you're prepared to get the best that you can get out of the autumn season. Well, it should be pretty self-explanatory, because you get an abundance of colour, you get scenes that are lit by beautiful light. It gives you an opportunity to be able to revisit spots that you would have visited throughout the year, and it also gives you an opportunity to get some amazing conditions, because you get a good change in the temperature and some pretty epic as well weather conditions. To start, what I would really recommend is you look at the gear that you would have, and if you don't already have one, I would really recommend that you purchase a polarizer. And the reason why I recommend a polarizer is because not only does it take glare off, but it also enhances colours. So if you're shooting in an autumn scene and you get some beautiful yellow light, yellow colours, orange colours, red colours, using the polarizer will really enhance that and will really give you a rich and deep tone to the colours that you have in your images. Something else that I always try and look out for throughout the other months of the year, building up as far as the autumn season, is to keep an eye out for trees that you think are going to change colour, obviously, if they're a deciduous tree. If they're an evergreen tree, of course they won't change any colour. But the tree behind me, as you can see here, is probably one of the first to go in regards to hitting the autumn colours. Now, I'm surrounded by green at the moment. We're nowhere really near. Probably another 3 weeks, I would imagine, before we hit the autumn colour season itself. But keep an eye out as well for trees that might actually go earlier in the season. So when I'm out taking photos in January right through, I suppose, really until July and August, if I spot a tree or I spot a composition, I immediately think, what would that look like in autumn? Something else I would really recommend you to do is, in advance of reaching the autumn season, look out for things that are colourful, that are also going to be complemented when you get the main colours hitting in autumn. So, as you can see here on the bark of this tree, it's covered by a beautiful moss. Now, that's going to have a colour regardless of the season, but if you can imagine right now, this here, with the background being in a different autumn colour, I think it would be a very, very good shot to be able to have. So again, keep your eye out for items and things that you're going to shoot when you do reach the autumn season, and things that will add a nice contrasting colour to your scene. Another great thing is to use your imagination and think in regards to what a scene would look like in the autumn season, but more particularly something that comes when you get a good change in hot and cold weather is fog. So in the background here, all you can see effectively right now is chaos, but if you were to add fog into the mix of that with the autumn colours, I'm sure it would be an absolutely beautiful scene. So use your imagination in advance and pre-visualise what you think and what you'd like the scene to look like. When you're scouting out your scene, always keep an eye out on the ground underneath you, because as you can see here, there are lots of different leaves. Now, these leaves are from last year. So right above me is the tree, and that obviously gave these leaves from last year, but it's a good indicator to tell you that there will be leaves on the ground which will completely change the scene once it comes to the autumn period. So keep an eye out on the ground, look out for where leaves are, and keep an eye on the tree above, because that's where the leaves will come from. Remember, that in the autumn time the sun doesn't get as high as it normally would do in the summertime. So you're going to have a much lower sun, which is going to give you a great opportunity for backlight. And here now with the moss that's in this tree, it's not exactly the greatest of an example because unfortunately I've got a grey day today, but if you can imagine light coming through here, lighting up these, you'll get some beautiful highlights of light, and obviously in the background then you can have all your autumn colours as well. Something else which is very, very good for you to be able to look out for, no matter when your time you're shooting, but particularly in the autumn period of time, is look for dark areas and contrast, because that gives a really nice aspect in regards to your shots. So that's pretty much it in regards to the things that I would think about in advance in preparation for autumn. And I do hope that it has helped you to prepare as well for what is coming in the autumn season ahead. Before I go though, one thing that I would also like you to remember is the gear that you have. I mentioned it in a previous episode of this vlog, you know, do we really need to take everything with us? Do we really need a camera bag? In the autumn time, you know, it doesn't really change as such, but make sure that you have your filters, because you will need your polarizer like I had said, and also you're dealing with a lower sun, so you may have highlights to be able to deal with within your shots. And also make sure you bring spare batteries and spare SD cards. Today I actually forgot one SD card, so I had to take the SD card out of my main camera, put it into the camera that I'm recording on right now, so at least I had that from a redundancy point of view. But something I normally do, and I actually haven't done it since the last time I need to use it, was always have a spare SD card in the glove box in the car, because you never know when you're going to need that. I did need it, so I used it prior to now, but I forgot to put it back into the car. So taking my own advice there, which I haven't, but I'd ask you, I suppose, really, if you'd like to take it, take that advice. So thanks very much for watching this episode. I do hope you've enjoyed it. I was going to call this episode 7 ways to improve your photography, or 7 things to think about in your photography, or 7 blah 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 blahs, but I think there's enough of those 7 ways vlogs out there on the internet already, so I'm not going to go down that route. So for me, in a beautiful area, thanks very much for tuning in, and if you haven't subscribed already, I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, throw a comment down below whether you like it or not. I prefer to hear if you didn't like it so I could improve, but it's always great to talk with everybody who watches my videos. And that's it. Until the next time, Slán go fóill.